The House on the Hill. It started as a rumor, whispers in the streets, quiet chatter in dimly lit bars. Something was wrong with the house on the hill, the one Diddy had bought years ago but never spoke about. They said strange things happened there. Lights flickering at odd hours, shadows moving behind drawn curtains, eerie sounds floating down to the city below. Some claimed to hear music, low, distorted beats, like a party happening deep underground. Others swore they heard laughter, but not the kind that made you feel warm inside, the kind that raised the hairs on your neck. One night, a journalist named Eric decided to investigate. He had heard enough stories, seen enough warning glances, and now he wanted the truth. With a camera in hand and a flashlight in his pocket, he drove up the winding road past the rusted gates and parked outside the mansion. The place looked abandoned. Ivy clawed up the walls, the windows were thick with grime, and the front door stood slightly open, as if inviting him in. Eric hesitated, then he stepped inside. The first thing he noticed was the silence. No wind, no crickets, just an eerie stillness. He moved through the grand foyer, his footsteps echoing too loudly. Dust coated everything, but there were footprints in it, fresh ones leading down a long hallway. He followed. At the end of the hall, a door stood ajar, revealing a stairwell leading down. The air was heavy here, thick with something that made his stomach tighten. But he pressed on, descending step by step into the darkness below. Then he heard it, the music, a low, pulsing beat, deep and hypnotic, like something playing just beneath reality. It came from the end of the corridor behind another heavy door. Eric pushed it open, and his breath hitched. The room was massive, like an underground ballroom. Red lights pulsed along the ceiling, casting shifting shadows. But the worst part? The figures. They were dancing, dozens of them, swaying in slow, unnatural movements. Their faces were wrong, stretched, distorted, grinning too wide. Their eyes were black voids, and in the center of it all, standing tall in a velvet suit, was Diddy. He turned slowly, his smile spreading too far, his eyes empty and endless. "You made it," he said. His voice wasn't right. It echoed, layered, like multiple voices speaking at once. Eric wanted to run, but his legs wouldn't move. The music grew louder, vibrating inside his skull. The dancers moved closer, their twisted limbs reaching for him. "Stay," Diddy whispered. The last thing Eric saw was the floor opening beneath him, revealing an endless abyss. And then he fell. No one ever saw Eric again. But sometimes, on quiet nights, if you listen closely, you can still hear the music,